Morning Year 5, your fluency for today is on the video and it is on division. So again, as always, we're just recapping these skills that we've done lots of times now. You have a minute this time because there's quite a few. Some of them I expect you to be able to do just in your head straight away. Others you're going to need to do a formal written method. Okay, so it's up to you if you want to pause it because it is going to take you a bit longer, or you can challenge yourself and you've got a minute to do that. So if you're timing yourselves, then your time starts now. Now I'm going to go through yesterday's challenge. So we had Dora and Amia, and we had to find out who was heavier. So Dora weighed 7.8 pounds and Amia weighed 3.5 kilograms. So to start off with, we need to make sure that they are both in the same unit of measure. Now on Friday we learnt that 1 kilogram is roughly the same as 2.2 pounds. So I converted Amia into pounds, so I did 35 times 22. Now, obviously you'll notice that I've times both of those by 10. So 35 times 22 gave me 770. Because I'd adjusted that, I had to divide the answer by 100, so that gave me 7.7. So that meant that Amia was 7.7 pounds, and we can see that 7.8 pounds is greater than that, so Dora must have been heavier. Now you could have done this by converting the pounds into kilograms, but that's much more tricky, but you would have got 3.9 kilograms, so it still shows that Dora is heavier. So whichever way you did it, well done. On to today's learning then, we are continuing with measurement, which we started last week, but today we're going to start thinking about perimeter. Now first of all, we have done perimeter before, we've touched on it in year 5 and you will have done it previously. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to see if you can write down a definition of perimeter, so what is it, and can you draw me a picture of where is perimeter? Hopefully you remember that perimeter is the distance, that's the key word, around the outside of 2D shape. Now I've also underlined outside, that's also key. So I've drawn some little diagrams here, I've got 3 different shapes, square, rectangle and triangle, and I've shown all the way around the outside of the shape is what we call the perimeter. Okay, so hopefully you've done something similar. Now the other word that I outlined, or I said was important, was distance. Now we've been looking at distance and the units of measure that we have for distance over the past week. So I wonder if you could pause the video and try and think about what are some of the units of measure that we might use to measure the distance and the perimeter around the outside of a shape. Hopefully you might remember that our measures for distance, our units of measure are millimetres, centimetres, metres and kilometres, and hopefully you can remember that these are in the order of their size. So something in millimetres is going to be very small, and kilometres we're thinking about big distances. Okay, so today you'll mostly see me using centimetres because if we're drawing things they're probably going to be in centimetres. Here's our first task then. I want us to have a go at calculating perimeter. Now remember, this is not to scale, so I've just sketched out a rectangle. It's not accurate by any means, but if you're drawing these at home and you've got a ruler, then try and make yours accurate. So measure out the 10 centimetres, okay? Mine isn't because it's too difficult to do. So here's my rectangle. This side is 10 centimetres, this side is 10, this side is 5 centimetres, this side is 5 centimetres. Can you calculate the perimeter? Can you write me out a number sentence and then your answer? Remembering that perimeter is the distance around the outside of our shape, I'm hoping that your number sentence looks something like this. 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5. So you might have done yours 10 plus 5 plus 10 plus 5. Think about why I've organised mine like this, okay? Still going to get the same answer. 10 plus 10 gives me 20, 5 plus 5 gives me 10. In total, the perimeter equals 30. Don't forget our unit of measure, centimetres. This time I've given you two shapes and I've already calculated the perimeter. So I want you to calculate it yourself and see if I'm correct. If I'm not, I want you to see if you can explain why and where you think I might have gone wrong. So first of all, we've got square. Again, it's not to scale. 5 centimetres, 5 centimetres. I've got two lengths and I've calculated the perimeter as 25 centimetres. And then this one, I've got a rectangle. I've been given two measurements and I've worked out the perimeter to be 24 centimetres. So pause the video, do your own calculations and explain if I'm correct or not and why, please. Let's start off with my square. So I was given two pieces of information, 5 centimetres and 5 centimetres. Now using our knowledge of a square, we know that all of the sides are equal. So I could go ahead and label the rest of the sides of my square. So they're all 5 centimetres. Now I got the perimeter to be 25 centimetres. Hopefully you recognise that I have done 5 multiplied by 5. Now that isn't the perimeter. What I should have done was two things I could have done. I could have done repeated addition, 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Okay, so there's all my sides. Or repeated addition is the same as multiplication, but not 5 times 5. I've got 5 4 times. So it would be 5 times by 4. Both answers would give me 20, so the perimeter of my square is 20 centimetres. Don't forget that unit of measure. Now the next one. Now this is a rectangle. I'd only been given two measurements, 20 centimetres and 4 centimetres, and all I'd done was added them together, okay? Just because that's the only information I've been given doesn't mean that it's all the way around my shape. I've got two sides missing. Again, thinking about what we know about rectangles, the opposite sides are equal. So I can fill in the rest of the information. If that's 20 centimetres, then this is 20 centimetres. And if this side is 4 centimetres, then this side is 4 centimetres. Now we can do our calculation. And again, like earlier, we could do 20 plus 20 plus 4 plus 4. Okay? Or we could do 20 times 2 plus 4 times 2, and that gives us our answer. Okay, so 20 plus 20 is 40, 4 and 4 is 8, so the perimeter of this shape is 48 centimetres. So well done if you got the correct answers, and even better if you've managed to explain it and spot my mistake. Now, as a bit of a challenge, I've put these two shapes together and created what we call a compound shape. So this is a bit of a challenge. I've got the same rectangle from before, 20 centimetres, 4 centimetres, and then the square of 5 centimetres and 5 centimetres. So I want you to see if you can figure out the perimeter of my whole shape, so the outside of my whole shape. Now again, if you've got a ruler and a pencil at home, please have a go at drawing this out, and hopefully you'll spot something that will help you with this. Before I go through the answer of this, I want to tell you what I got. I got the answer of 68 centimetres. I think the perimeter is 68 centimetres. I wonder if you got the same. If you did, I'll let you into a clue. That's incorrect. So see if you can spot what I did and why it's wrong. So let's start off with my incorrect answer. I got this answer because I thought, well, we'd figured out the perimeter of this shape earlier, and my purple shape was 48 centimetres. because I did 20 and 20 and 4 and 4. And I already knew the perimeter of the square because we've done that before and that was 20 centimetres. So I just added them together and I got 68 centimetres. Okay? Now, as I said, that is incorrect. I wonder if you can spot why. So, if we look and do like we did before and label all of the sides of the outside of our shape that we know. So, this is labelled, this is labelled, this is labelled. This side here, we know because it's still a rectangle, is 20 centimetres. Now, these two sides in here, they are now the middle of my shape. So I don't need to count them because remember the perimeter is the outside distance. However, there is a new distance that's being created. Because this is 4 centimetres and this is 5 centimetres, there's a little bit of a gap here. And I can work out that that must be a 1 centimetre gap because this is 5, that's 4, so this should be 1 centimetre. Okay, so now adding up all of these, we should do 20 plus 20 plus 4, remember we're ignoring this one, plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, and then don't forget our 1 plus 1, and we're not doing this 5 because it's now the inside of our shape. And hopefully you should have got the answer. The perimeter of this new shape is 60 centimetres. If you got that, well done. So that concludes today's learning on perimeter, and your task is over on Purple Mash today, your to-do. It is all on perimeter. All of today's units are in centimetres. We'll move on later in the week looking at all of the units of measure. Just look at the information carefully, just like we've just done in that lesson, and the last one's a bit of a challenge. There's also a challenge coming up for today that's super tricky, so have a look at it carefully, read the information, and as always, either send us an email, thank you to those children that have been doing that every week, or post on the class blog, but please let us know if you're doing that. Any problems, please send them an email, and I'd love to see how you're getting on.